Our final practice is going to be drawing a 2-point perspective room. So for your final drawing, you're going to get to pick between drawing a 2-point perspective room or drawing a 1-point perspective room like we've practiced. So for this one, we're going to be working in this smaller square right here. The first step, again, we want to find our horizon line. So I take and measure, and we're going to be using 2.75 for our horizon line. 2.75 or 2 3/4, whichever one, and then you connect the 2 points. That's going to be our horizon line. And then I need to add my vanishing points. So I go ahead and put a dot on either end. Now the corner to our room is going to fall right in the middle of this line. So we're going to measure again to 2.75 or 2 3/4. And then this time you can pick how tall you want your line to be. I'm going to do, I think that's a little big. That looks a little small. I'm going to put 1 1/4 mark there. And that would take us to 2.5. So my line is 2.5 inches for my back corner of my room. Then the next step, I'm going to line up with my right vanishing point, line up with the top of the line. Now, to save me some erasing, you could take and draw all the way across, but I know I just want the line to continue from the top of that line over, so that's what I'm going to do. Because right now we're forming our walls. So I'm going to line up here with my vanishing point, go from the corner to the left, and then I'm going to do the same thing going the opposite way. So I line up with the corner of my room, line up with my left vanishing point, and then I go to the right. I'm going to do the same thing up here at the top of my line, of my corner. I'm going to find the top of that, line up with my vanishing point, draw my line to the right. So now we're actually going to get rid of our horizon line. We can't see that anymore because we now have the walls of our room. So it takes a minute to see this, but here's our left wall, here's the corner of the room, here's our right wall, here's our ceiling, here's our floor. So we're going to add a door now. So like we did before with 1-point perspective, we're going to draw a tall vertical line that's parallel with the edge of our art space. And this time, to add our dimension, we're going to use our left vanishing point because this object is to the right of that corner. So we're going to come back however far we want the door to be, and then we're going to add another vertical parallel line to what we did, and we can create our door frame. So again, I'm going to work inside that space, add another nice vertical line. I'm going to take and connect that across, then add another vertical line down. Okay, then I can add doorknob, I could add hinges if I want. So again, the more detail you add, the more interest and the more people can tell what it's supposed to be. Now we're going to draw a window on this wall. So again, it's very similar to how we practiced before. So we decide where we want our window to be, and we draw a nice vertical parallel line to the edge of our space. This time it's on the left wall, so we need to use our right vanishing point. So we go ahead and line it up there and draw however far over we want our window to go. I'm going to make this a big picture window. And then we need to add another vertical line that's parallel to the side of our window. Then we can erase any lines that are a little bit too long. Now this time, again, we want to find the center to add some window panes and some details. Why don't we go ahead and add a window frame first? So I like to have a window frame. So I'm going to do the same thing that I just did, and you can go in any order. So I'm going to add my 2 parallel lines first, and then add my line here, my line here, and then I can clean up the corners where I have those extra lines that I don't need. So now I'm going to create the window panes. Remember to find the center in perspective. We're going to connect opposite corners where the lines intersect. That tells us where our center is in perspective. So I go ahead and I add a vertical line there. And then I can connect this one to my right vanishing point where it intersects to create my horizontal line. And then again, we get rid of our diagonal lines. Now for the floor, you can do this a couple different ways. I'm going to go ahead and just make a mark about every ½ inch along the bottom of my paper. Now it's not going to be perfectly even, and I'm okay with that. If you wanted to measure it out and divide it up perfectly even, that's fine. So to create the floor, you can take and use your opposite vanishing point. Or sorry, I can use my vanishing point here on the left, and I'm connecting with each of those hatch marks. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing going this direction. And what this does is it creates a tile pattern for my flooring. So if you wanted to add a floor in 1 point perspective, or sorry, 2 point, that could be a way to create that technique below.